No idea what happened. We were just doing our thing, and it's like we're going to old people like you smell a rat, and we just went off. I don't know what happened. Were you guys seeing me? Come back on the live, guys, as soon as you are here. We will. Let me just get Eddie back on. Okay. All right. Soon as Eddie rejoins, we'll be good to go again. All right. Like I said, I have no idea what happened. We were doing our thing. I was primed up and ready to go, and we just disappeared. Were you guys hearing me? Were you guys hearing us? Or was the problem on my end? Were you guys hearing us? Yeah, somebody says it just went off. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so it wasn't on my end. It wasn't just on my end. All right. Of all the days Mark chose to play the fool, of all the days when I had a good breakfast and ready to talk to Eddie, yeah, I'm just waiting for him to come back in the room. Of all the days, look at the time already. Listen, I am pissed to the capital P right now. Not for how I was prepared and ready to go. All right, so Eddie's back. It took almost 15 minutes of our time.
Wow.
All right, so guys, soon as you come in, just hit the share button again, and let's go. All right, so Eddie, you were saying
Yes. So
we are
as
talking
I
about
was saying,
entitlement.
yes, as I was saying, in the context when we speak of high value men, I think from a female perspective, they always think of financial security. The other attributes that which women may look for, that might be physical or maybe certain um, temperament and so, but I think is more so focused on financial. That has been my experience.
Though it always makes me smile or laugh when I hear that women. Eddie, you know what you cock?
You understand, boy? Listen to me. We living in the tongue. You ever notice the tongue of St. George have yard full all the way going on?
You're in town right now.
Yes, I live in town. You're driving around the car now, Johnny, your yard full now. No? Cock all about the place, cock
I
crowing. I
never knew
don't.
there was cock in town.
Why? Come on, Rona, come on. Don't
I've never
don't
seen
try
a
to
fowl.
bad talk to as old
No,
tongue. We
I've
don't know
never
that.
seen a fowl or a cock in tongue. I
You
swear.
must pass around by four roads and see the amount of yard full you have right in four roads in the middle of town.
Well, somebody need to hold on that cock and distracting us for real. No, like I was also saying, it's always funny though
Yeah.
when I hear that women are with men for financial gains or what have you. Because the last time I checked, men are the ones who more pursue women. I mean, the women pursuing men, it happens, but to me, it's in the minority.
Mhm.
So if a man came to you, right, he shows interest in you and he happens to be okay financially, what are you supposed to do with the person? You have other criteria that you like. They're probably respectful, they're charming, they're easy on the eyes, they're respectable, they treat you good. I mean, what are you supposed to do if they happen to have some cash? To me, that's a bonus. But aren't the men the ones who pursue women more than women pursuing men for relationship or for whatever? So why is it that we always throwing women after men for their money or
I
for
love
financial gains?
I love the way how you slant the conversation, right? You chose the latter. Okay, they might be financially stable, they may be easy on the eyes.
Mhm.
There's the other paradigm to that. There are a lot of men that we see every day that may not be easy on the eyes, they may be rough around the edges, but they financially sound, but they get the girl,
True.
right?
This
So
part
so
of
don't
aren't they
just
the
so don't
ones seeking the women?
Yes, but you have to understand one thing, right? When it comes to relationship, women control access to relationships, right?
True.
We can be the one pursuing, we could pursue to the hill, right? But you all are the one that control access to relationships. The only thing men control is access to marriage, right? So
Mhm.
at the end of the day, as much as you would like to put it, okay, but you're all that pursuing us. You are the ones that is ticking off your check marks and saying, okay, he have this, he have that, and he have the other, right?
Mhm.
So it's not a matter of there isn't this glaring thing, okay, well, he doesn't have money, so I'm not going to be with this guy. But really and truly, it is a serious motivating factor in women choosing their spouse, right? And it would be disingenuous to say that is not the case, right?
Of
It
course,
is it is a prerequisite.
it is a
No,
prerequisite
no. As a matter of fact,
in some
uh,
cases.
in
Because if we
most,
want to put it, Eddie, let's be realistic. If we
yeah,
want to put it in Grenadian context,
yeah.
how many men in Grenada that are well off financially, if we were
Well,
to look at, because if you look at all these relationships that we have now, the money not the money to talk about, but they're
well,
still in a relationship. We all struggling together, we all hand to mouth together, but we're in a relationship. I mean, if we were to look at Grenada standards, those who probably have a couple dollars, when I look around, to me, they're already in relationships or married or what have you.
mm,
But in a Grenada context, how many men have the sort of money that men seem to think women are after in on this rock here? Let's narrow it down to Grenadian context. How many men have that sort of money? Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos kind of money that we talking about.
yeah, but it's funny you say that, right? There's a lot of things that, okay, when you women start to talk about men, they always put men in one bracket, right? Men this, men that, men the other, right? Men have all the power. There's a list is long. And what you just said is exactly the point. It's a few men, right, that represents the people that women describe. However, women never have any problem lumping us all in that basket, right? And it's always convenient to extrapolate and take out what they want when it suits the narrative, right?
Of
So
course.
I'm happy to hear you said that what you're talking about in terms of men only represents a small percentage because the average man like you and I, all of us struggling together,
Mhm,
all of us trying to make it together. So
mhm.
I'm happy that this point was brought up because too often we try to emasculate our men and
No, we
make
all
us feel
struggling
less than.
together, make you feel less,
Yeah,
and
try.
okay, well, you're broke. I'm broke too. We just broke together.
Yeah, but all these things are relative, right? All these things are relative. Money is relative in the context of I may not have the money as I'm not a millionaire, but I may be in the middle class, right? And in the context of in dating, I may meet a female that may not be in the middle class, and that would be a step up for her. So that is relative. So you can't just say, okay, yes, we none of us don't have that type of money,
Mhm.
but it have people that okay, just being able to pay, having a man to help them pay an electricity bill or a cable bill might be a step up. So all these things have to be taken, in context, right? So it's not just about money and having, because I would never prescribe to the fact that all women are looking for a millionaire. What I would say that all women are looking for financial security and looking for betterment to better their position, right?
But
So
if you
it's
look at it now, there are also men doing the same thing. People are looking for to better their lot, better their position, because there are women who are also doing well in their own fields, in their own careers, and they're also looking for somebody sometimes to be up there with them, or not necessarily looking for somebody that you might say, okay, I'm a lawyer, so I'm not looking for no bus driver. Not no disrespect to anybody on any work or whatever. At the end of the day, money is money. But there are some people who are like, okay, I'm up there, so I'm not. I don't. I have to. This person is supposed to be on my level. My thing is, if we have mutual respect across the board and we're still committed, and that person is a hard worker, and they've got plans and ways to better themselves, why do we discount them as okay, not being on my level, or whatever level that's supposed to be? What is that for?
well, you should ask your fellow lionesses that because anytime and I don't know if you would admit this, but anytime a woman has taken the opportunity and has been fortunate to go away and study and to better herself and and have earned a degree or doctorate or whatever it is, they always talk about marrying down. In this way as though they're stepping down, or they have to settle, right? Um, to me, ladies once they think they seem to equate some educational achievement to that, of something to do with stature, or you have to have somebody on your level. And I think that is a wrong way to look at things, right? um Relationships is very dynamic, and it shouldn't be based on that. But a lot of women, because the reality is that, like you said, men do it too, and I totally disagree with that, right? Men don't have access to women money. We've never had, and we never will, because you know that women money is women money, and men money is we money. You
Yeah,
understand it?
it's
That,
our money. It's
yeah,
our
it's always our money, right? There may be exceptions to the rule, because I always say there are no absolutes, right? But women guard their money. Watch now. Or you can open a security firm, or else guard our money.
I was reading something a couple weeks ago. This of a man that was he got married. They got married, and he was paying rent. But every month he would give his wife the money to take care of the rent.
Yeah,
And they were married for a couple of years, and for whatever reason the marriage went south. And during that time is when he got to find out that the house actually belonged to the woman, and the rent he was paying was not. She actually owned the house, so he was paying her the rent. And she didn't say anything to him, didn't tell him that the house was actually hers. So during the divorce proceedings, he got to
yeah,
find out that all these years, over 8 years, he was paying rent to his wife, thinking that this house belonged to somebody, and they were just tenants. When
yeah.
actually he was the tenant, she was the owner,
Wow,
and he only found out after the fact. But to me, that is being prudent.
that's been prudent.
Put away. So I worked all these years, build my
Listen to
house,
me.
pay for my
If,
house,
if
and
you if you started a relationship on that basis, that relationship is doomed to fail,
well,
because that means you started your marriage with a lie.
it failed. That's
and
how he
and,
found out we're
and that
divorced.
is exactly why it failed, because she went into the marriage and she was not even she didn't even have the maturity, to be honest with you, with her partner.
Her
Or she
response
was,
was she didn't think he was mature enough because she realized he was very ill disciplined when it came to finances and bills and stuff like that. And he, as a matter of fact, she said he also gambled and was not financially prudent. So
okay, so did she find out he gambled only after they got married?
I don't know, but
Well,
she was doing
I am
rent.
will I am willing to bet she didn't find that out after, right? And that is exactly my point I made to you yesterday, right? Women need to start taking responsibility for their actions, and always stop shifting the goalposts, because eventually we start off this thing as though we playing a, as we call it, as we men just call it, big goal. Right now we reach small goal. If you move the goalpost anymore, the match would be over, because they had no field to play on.
You made
Right?
that point, and you also made that point last week, and I had to
Yeah.
jump in because you said that we have to take responsibility. And my thing is, when we meet, man, woman meets, they express interest in each other. We start talking future, we start talking commitment, and what have you. During the dating process, nobody comes out and say, you know what, I'm not a nice person, really. I'm not financially prudent. I'm not. I have attitude issues. I have everybody. All it's like everybody puts on a show. We're acting to show that person only our good sides. Nobody comes out and say, you know what, I may not be this or I may not be that. So when you mention taking responsibility, no man comes out and immediately you start seeing things that you don't like or you start seeing the red flags. Everybody always puts themselves up as a good candidate for this relationship. I'm applying. When you go to a job interview, you tell the employer all the good things about yourself. You sell yourself. So
Yeah.
you get into a relationship with another person. We basically sell ourselves to each other and make it seem like, you know what, we could be really good together. It's after the fact, like 3, 4, 5, 6 months going down the road, when people start getting comfortable, you start seeing, well, who is this person? Like, I don't know you. Where you come out? Like, you never did that before, because nobody allows themselves to be themselves in the initial stages of the relationship. So you pick up a man, you're thinking, okay, well, this man is like a really good man, he's respectable. 3 months down the road, he start telling you about your mother and you this and you that, and start cursing you out, and you see one amount of disrespect, and you're like, what? What? So I agree with the taking responsibility part, but at what point do you take responsibility when you don't see those things in the beginning to say, you know what, let me take a step back for this person isn't for me.
Okay. Well, first of all, here as I would say, you have to take responsibility from the get go. And when I say take responsibility from the get go, you need to determine when you go into when you meet this man, right? Or as a man meeting a woman, you need to determine what exactly you're going into this relationship for. Or you're going into this relationship to have a good time, fun, whatever the case may be. And this is what would set up the rules of engagement, right? So, for instance, if you see this person and you see this person as somebody that you would like to spend the rest of your life with, or that the potential of, because I can tell you as a man from day one, when we meet a woman, we know if this is a woman we think that we could have on our
We
socialize and
been telling my sisters that don't be fooled by what by this. Oh, men don't know what they want. Men know very well what they want.
exactly. So here is where the responsibility comes in. When you have determined, right, what you want out of the relationship, you have to act accordingly. Because you may say, okay, a man put on a show. But how about if you go into a relationship as a woman, right? And you meet a man and you didn't even know him at 2 days yet, but you decide to sleep with him. That has a significant um shift in the whole conversation, right?
Mhm.
Men may not want to come out and say that all men want to know that, okay, that their partner is somebody that is, and I don't want to use any derogatory terms we on radio, but no easy person that anybody could just come, somebody that have standards and that you could feel proud of, right? So if it is I meet you and within the first day or two, right, we sleep together. A lot of the times, the man may have seen you a particular way, but that may change his whole focus and say, well, nah, you understand? Because a lot of times we see the first attraction we have is physical attraction, right? And if that physical
I want to
leads
take
to
back what I
physical
just
right away,
I want
if
to
that
take back what I just said. What I say when men know what they want. Let me take it back to for a little bit.
yeah,
Some of y'all don't know what you want because it's like you don't do it damned either way. Because I've heard men say when you decide to hold out for a specific, or me, I leave she out, she playing hard to get. I don't know what she feel. When you do it, when you do it like 2 3 days, oh, she easy. Like, aren't we both involved in the process here? If we are grown, consenting adults, and you're feeling an attraction for a person, and you both decide to act on it, why should labels be attached to me? Because we decide, you know what, I'm feeling you. You don't feel every person like that, but I'm feeling you like that. So we decide to sleep together, blah, blah, blah. And after that, we continue our relationship. So why are labels attached to people who are grown, who are feelings, who are not robots, and you decide to act on it as compared to you deciding to hold out for 90 days?
okay.
I've seen
Well,
people sleep together 2 days and they're married years after. And there are
yeah,
people who decide to sleep together 5 months and they break up the next day. Why can't we
that's
just be adults about it if that's how
yeah,
we feel
yeah. But
comfortable?
as I said earlier, there are always exceptions to the rule, right? But I would say that, and I agree with you. There are persons that you can meet somebody and you decide to sleep with them within the first day, and this could be a successful relationship. It doesn't say that it is a recipe that the relationship is destined to fail. But I'm just saying, if we go based on statistics and based on what has been the norm, it is it, it, it is a red flag, right? And it's not to say that um getting into sex, for instance, before you actually, because that is what leads to the same problem you just described. Getting into sex and getting this emotional connection with somebody that you have not, because there's no way you can learn somebody and know about somebody in a day or two,
No, you can't. You'd
right?
somebody 15 years and you still find out
And
things about
and
them.
and women, and why I say women even more so have to take responsibility, because you know for a fact, Aruna, there are guys that have. I remember the days when I've been single, have nobody.
Mhm.
and no woman ain't even batting the eyebrow the eyelash at you, right? The day you get a woman, they want to
This is
well,
what a woman, a man
watch
always
that.
go to the next woman. Look like
Watch.
having him having a woman brings up his value. I don't know.
Well, I don't know because I always say women seem to be more competitive. I always advocate that women are their own worst enemy because you see, um, you could be married, I could, and when they see us together, it's like they're trying to figure out, they're trying to come up with some plan how I could break that woman, boy, how I could break she, or what she do to get he, or and vice versa. How many times have you known that they like to call men or they use that term village drum? That the same man all you're calling village drum is the same man all you're going behind.
Or the man going behind you. Which one?
No, it's the same mandate. Or you're putting yourselves in position. Listen to me. I've been around this rodeo quite a while. You I have known women that have pursued me and you ever listen to me. Yeah, everywhere you go, you see them. It's like, what going on?
Stop.
You tell yourself it's fate. Fate what? Them that putting themselves in position.
Sam says Sam says men know what they want, but soon find out that women cannot give him all of it. He then goes through a phase where he reevaluates what's more important when deciding if to stay. It still does not change what he initially wanted.
That's fair. That's
So
fair.
why can't we just say what you know that life could be easy and simple and relationships could be, workable if people just say what they mean and mean what they say. I want to have sex with you. That's it. I want to have a relationship with you. Let me decide if I want to have sex with you, no strings attached. Why do we think we need to pile on all these complications and then you end up hurting a person who believe you wanted a relationship just because you wanted to have some sex and then you go away and this person is left being labeled because she thought you meant well and you wanted a relationship and there she is again and society jumps in, oh, another man again, but you went in thinking, okay, this is a relationship this man wants only when the man wanted sex. You could have just said that and I'll be like, nah, I'm good. I'm not into that with you and move on. So
Well, I
you
get,
know that's not what you want. You pretend that's what you want and then women are labeled, oh, she did another man again.
well, well, listen to me. Let's say if you keep doing the same thing and expect a different outcome, it's insanity, right? So
Mhm.
at some point, right, even if I give you credit, right, they may be men, right, that for instance go outside it because I always say that a lot of times, especially within a certain age range, men by nature are predators, right, and they pursue, right. But there's come a time where you have to take responsibility for your actions. You go with John and you had a bad experience. You go with James, you had a bad experience. You're still going with Sammy, you're going with Eddie, you're going with and you still expect a different outcome. Where does I would like to ask you, where does your responsibility check in? When does your responsibility kick in to say, okay, well, something must be wrong with my thought process. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. When does it kick in? Because you cannot put all this on the backs of men. Men don't, as I say, men, if unless I'm man and holding you down and rape you. So at the end of the day, if you are willingly giving yourself to this man and it's happening over and over, you have to take responsibility for your action. Don't put that on the backs of no man. That is your choice. You understand? Nobody in jug you to do that.
So it's your choice to looking for love like everybody else and the whole white picket fence and realizing this person is not cutting it. That's who I thought he was. It's my responsibility then for somebody not living up to their promises or my expectations. It's my responsibility to vet everybody. And sometimes you think, okay, well, there are red flags. Let me look out for these red flags, but I'm not seeing the red flags in this person and then I end up seeing it. So it's my response. How do you vet humans?
Well,
How do you know that is the one when everybody? So maybe you need to stop and take a breather, or look somewhere else, and not look in the places where you looked before. How do you find that one?
well, Arona, this whole conversation, they're so interconnected with other issues that is, as I say, I don't want to say it's complicated, but it's something that it all comes up to have to do with even parenting as well and what you see practice. So sometimes when I speak to relationship, I speak to it from a perspective as from being married, right? And I so people who sometimes question my motives when I talk about women and I talk in this strong manner, I always say I have no ulterior motives. I have no, people's like you have something against women. I have two daughters, right? I was brought up by a single mother. Maybe I shouldn't say brought up by a single mother because I grew up in an extended family household, right? I had my grandmother around, I had a lot of aunts around. So I grew up around a lot of women, and I would say a lot of what I consider strong women, not the today definition of strong woman, right?
Mhm.
And all these things are interconnected. So you say, how do you go about weeding out whatever the case may be? It all comes back to your values, right? And if you go into it not understanding as a woman what you're looking for and what your value system is, you would always continue to make the same mistakes, right? You cannot
Agree.
continue to think that, okay, that physical, because physical is very, very temporary, right?
Mhm.
I would walk down the road and I see you, you're looking beautiful, you're the best thing since sliced bread. And guess what? By the next day, I see something that look like sliced buns. You understand? So,
Cheese
you understand? Buns and cheese. You
and a coke.
understand? So, stop thinking that, okay, you something so special. There's no woman in this world that is so special that no a man can't find something that is better. And if you always take this and always keep, as what people say, keep it in your pipe and smoke it, you'd understand that when you go into relationships, it has to be based on something else. And I don't want to speak like, okay, I have some moral authority as though I've been some perfect because I have gone through the ringer as well. I have done my share of, you know, I
Mhm.
know, I know scenes. You understand?
We are aren't.
Yeah. And, but at the end of the day, you have to grow, right? And what I find when I look at society is that there are just too many women, right? That to me, I'm seeing no growth. They're still saying the same things.
Mhm.
They're still doing the same thing and expect a different outcome.
Results. That's
And
sanity.
what
Insanity.
and what is frightening to me is that now what is happening if you're looking at women because of social media, women are now creating these little silos and retreating into these groups, and they're becoming more and more toxic because they're aligning themselves and putting people around them that is of the same value system and singing them praises for things that sometimes are not even positive, right? They don't want anybody to push back, right? And that's what I'm saying is that the social discourse is really skewed because it's only when you have people that is willing to push back and tell watch now, Arona or whoever it is, what you're doing here is not making sense, right?
But the thing is,
And have a frank discussion with you. That's only how you would grow.
well,
You
I'm
understand?
happy that at least I have people around me who can tell you, "Oh, you're on BS."
Yeah.
That's not a good look.
And that's important.
You need to pull up yourself, what have you. A couple years ago, I didn't have that. Everybody
Yeah.
was like, probably should have known themselves, but nobody told you, said, that's not a good look. What you're doing is not right.
And in front of you, they tell you, and they're singing you, and they tell you, yeah, girl, they give you a thumbs up. But
Mhm.
behind your back, I
A
tell you,
different story.
women are their own worst
I'm
enemy.
both enemies. No, I'm blessed to have women who around me who can tell me that. And I
Yeah.
know that it's coming from a good place because we're not in no competition. They're like years older than me,
Yeah.
so they've been that done that experience, what have you, and they can tell you and teach you and you get yourself together. But in terms of, something that I said yesterday, you were saying that women aren't that. But what about women who, well, for want of a better word, independent, um, got good jobs, got their own stuff, what have you. And you might say, well, okay, I'm doing all of this on my own. I don't necessarily have to, you know, bow down or cater to somebody. And like I was saying in my yesterday, one person said to me that when you're too strong as a woman, you end up alone because men don't like strong, assertive women, women with opinions. I was told I'm too opinionated. I
Yeah.
don't need to have a response to everything.
Hmm.
Like when you hearing that and you okay, how do you even begin to
Well,
based on what you're saying?
yeah. Well, this might be a little bit controversial to you, but I and I prescribe to the fact that men do not like masculine women. And when I say masculine women, women with masculine traits,
Energy. Hmm.
right? And I always, when people talk about independent women, I always try to get them to define what is an independent woman because I really don't know what that is,
Yeah,
right?
like you're not relying totally on another person for, your everyday needs, wants, for because everybody needs somebody. We all need somebody. I don't
Yeah,
believe this whole, oh, watch me, I could do it all alone. I don't need a man. I don't believe in
yeah.
that at all. I don't subscribe to that. We all need
Hmm.
each other. Women need
But you,
them.
but
But
you have to admit that the
but
modern
you
woman,
but
that is the posture they're taking.
the thing is you're able to do it for yourself. So you sort
Yeah,
of attach the independent label. I'm able to do things. I got my own bread. I could pay my own bills, blah, blah, blah. But that does not mean I don't need a man,
yeah,
right? Because one and one is two. When we come together, we can be a powerful force.
yeah.
And certain things I could chill. But when you've been doing it for so long, because a lot of women are saying, you know what? It's not like we have a choice. When for so long we've had to do it for ourselves, and when you find somebody, you still have to do it. You're in a relationship, and you still have to do it for yourself. And then that person telling you, okay, you have too much masculine energy, but you're not allowing me to fall back in my feminine energy, so you can handle it and be the man. I still feel like I have to be the man here.
No, no, no. But hold
I
on.
feel like plumbing.
But this is wrong. Nobody have to allow you to fall back into that energy. As a woman, you could have the biggest degree or doctorate, whatever it is. That has nothing to do with you as a woman having feminine traits or
Mhm.
being
At all.
even being able to be submissive, right?
You submit to
These
the right person.
no, you see, there's a problem.
Not every man pulls
You
out a
cannot.
submissive energy.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that how do you as an individual able to say, okay, this is a man I should submit to? How do you do that?
You don't even have to say it. Like I said, it just flows. It's energy. People don't understand the power of energy. It just happens. Sometimes you catch yourself doing things. I'm like, what? Wait.
So if you go along those lines, you're going to miss a lot of potentially good men, right? Because you can misread situations based on what you perceive as the person have this energy that you would submit to them. Because a lot of the energy that you're talking about is just a man just having a very, as we just call it, a, he's a alpha male, and he has that posture that when he comes, he commands the room, and so you kind of you know
Eddie, not every man knows how to deal with submission. Eh? A lot of men use submission as control. Not a
and
lot of
that
men understand the
yes,
difference.
I
So
agree
that's
with
why,
that.
as a woman, you can't just say, okay, let me just let go to you.
But that's why, and that is why
Because
so you
when a
realize something.
woman submits, Eddie, when a woman gives in, she understands that, hey, I recognize this as the leader in the relationship. Not that I can't lead, but I know when to fall back. I know when he's got it, he's got it.
Mhm.
You can't do that with everybody because not every man has leadership qualities. Not every man, a lot of men just run around their house instead of running their house. You know that.
I
No, a
don't know
lot of
if
men
you
just be
get it.
running around their house. There are men who run around their house and not run their house.
So you see why. So you
Not
see
every
why.
man is a leader. As much as a man might be male and not every man is a leader. There are women with
But
leadership qualities that
that
you
is why courtship is
your strength
important.
and your
That is
weakness.
why courtship is important.
You just got to know your strengths and weaknesses. I don't know why we even need to submit in the first place. You know my strength. I know your strength. You know where I'm weak. We just pick up the slack and we balance each other out. Why is the need to
Listen, hold on,
dominate
hold on,
and the
hold on.
need to be submissive?
I think so often I find women misunderstand what being submissive is about,
No,
right?
man don't understand what submissive is. Being you hear you
No,
put it
no.
in
What do you
definition.
mean? Okay, let me just watch. We think we so different. We think we so different from animals, but let me just show
No,
you
we're not.
something. Huh?
No, we're
If
not.
you yeah, so if you look at the animal kingdom, let's say lions, we think do most of the hunting and bring down
No,
your son.
if we
The lion is
lioness,
right. However, when after they do that, who eats first?
well, same as when I cook, who eats first?
Well, exactly.
You take the
So
man
the
plate of food out and you give him his food. You ain't
so
eat first
whether
and
so whether
leave
we
him.
want to accept it or not, right? In human, when we're dealing with humans and we're dealing with groups and systems, there's always a hierarchy. You understand? Otherwise, because when we want to prescribe to this equal 50-50, there's no such thing as equal.
That's what
There's
I'm
no
saying.
such thing as equal. We are equal as human beings on this planet. We are equal in that way. But in the context of relationship, there's no such thing as equal. What would happen? When you, let's say you're in a marriage or you're you and your mate, you all have children, whatever the case may be. If a decision has to be made on the behalf of the children, on behalf of the house, and you can't come to agreements what the decision wouldn't be made because 50-50 all at each other, somebody have to take the responsibility,
That's why
right?
I said, Eddie, that I believe in people understanding and learning each other's weaknesses and strengths. Where
Right.
you
And that's
strong,
why
where I'm
courtship, and
strong,
that's
you're
why
probably weak,
courtship
and
is
we just
important.
balance each other out and we make it work. This dominating and this 50-50 and whatever, you just need to figure out what makes that person whatever. Anyway, we had to go, but I want to come back next week. This can do, we
Yeah,
can't do this on a one-off conversation.
yeah, yeah. This
So
is like, yeah, yeah,
I need you. So since that you've been, everybody seems to be giving you the thumbs up. You've done a very good job representing this morning. We can issue you an invitation to come back in.
I shy away from no fight.
You've been doing. I must admit, this was a really, really
Yeah,
good conversation. I really, really have to give you that.
yeah.
Someone says you seem to understand the depth of women, and you're getting thumbs up for that. So we're gonna come back again next week. What today is Thursday. So how about we come back next week Thursday?
Yeah, no problem.
All
11
right.
o'clock again?
Yes.
All right.
Hopefully Mark does not play with the thing so we can have a prom start. Yeah?
Yeah.
So thanks so much. Final
All
what do you
right.
want to
Take
say?
care. And
All right.
say that again.
No, I was just asking you if you have any final words before we go.
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear that. Sorry. Well, yeah, I'd like to just tell to fellow men and women outside there, one of the most important decisions you make in your life is picking a partner and stop trivializing it. Yes, there we go through phases in life. When we're young, we could get away with a lot of stuff, right? And I'll just leave this here, just this thought, just to provoke you a bit, right? You would, it would not always be hot girl summers. You would not always have the bodies that you have today. So when you're making this decision and saying, okay, I could do it on my own, whatever it is based on your assets you have now. These assets will not always be there.
I
So
like
be
that.
smart in making your decisions.
You'll always be hot girl summer. I'm coming back with you on that note next Thursday, same time. Thanks so much. I like that. You don't always have a hot girl summer. You have to think future, right? Anyways, thanks so much, Escoma, Beacon Insurance, and Western Union for making this possible. And that wraps up this week's ladies' room. So catch us again Monday. I think we got a special guest as well. Monday, Tuesday, I've got a guest. So the only day we have free is next Wednesday, and then Eddie will be back on Thursday. All right. So yeah, it won't always be hot girl summer. Have a good one, y'all.